A canvas of dreams. Victoria Hayes stood before her latest painting in the small Seattle art gallery, her hands trembling slightly as potential buyers walked past without a second glance. At 24, she had imagined her life would look different by now. Instead, she spent her days working double shifts at a downtown cafe and her nights creating art that nobody seemed to want. Her phone buzzed with another message from the hospital. Her younger sister Lily needed surgery for a rare heart condition, and the bills had climbed to $300,000. Insurance covered barely half. Victoria had sold everything she owned, borrowed from friends, and even tried crowdfunding online. Nothing was enough. The gallery owner approached with sympathetic eyes. "Victoria, I am sorry, but we need to make room for new artists. Your pieces have been here for 6 months without any sales. You have until the end of the week." Victoria nodded, fighting back tears. She understood. Business was business. But it felt like another door slamming in her face. An unexpected encounter. That evening, Victoria picked up an extra catering shift at the Grand Cascade Hotel. A tech industry gala filled the ballroom with wealthy entrepreneurs and investors. She moved through the crowd invisibly, refilling champagne glasses and clearing plates. Julian Ashford stood near the floor-to-ceiling windows, looking out at the Seattle skyline. At 32, he had built Cloud Sync Technologies into a billion-dollar company. His tailored suit fit perfectly on his tall frame, and his dark hair showed just a touch of gray at the temples. But his expression was tired, almost sad. "Champagne, sir?" Victoria asked softly. He turned, and their eyes met. For a moment, neither looked away. His eyes were deep brown, unexpectedly warm despite his reputation as a cold businessman. "Thank you." He took the glass, then hesitated. "You look familiar. Have we met before?" "I doubt it." Victoria managed a small smile. "Different worlds." Before he could respond, a stunning woman in a designer gown appeared at his side. "Julian, darling. Stop hiding in corners. Everyone wants to meet you." "Not now, Cassandra." Julian's voice was firm. The woman pouted dramatically. "You are impossible. We belong together, and you know it. Stop pretending otherwise. We dated for 3 months, 2 years ago. Move on." As Cassandra left in a huff, Victoria slipped away. But throughout the evening, she felt Julian watching her. A shocking proposal. After the gala ended, Victoria was gathering dirty dishes in the kitchen when one of the hotel managers found her. "Miss Hayes, someone is asking for you in conference room B." Confused, Victoria followed the manager. Inside the elegant conference room, Julian Ashford sat at the head of the table, his jacket removed and tie loosened. "Please, sit down." He gestured to a chair. "Sir, I should get back to work. I have already spoken to your supervisor. You have 10 minutes. Please." Victoria sat, her heart pounding. Did she do something wrong? Julian studied her for a long moment. "I am going to be direct because I sense you appreciate honesty. I need a wife." Victoria blinked. "Excuse me?" "A temporary wife. 1 year. My company is preparing for a major merger with a family-owned business in Tokyo. The CEO is traditional. He wants to work with stable, family-oriented people. He thinks I am too much of a playboy. Too many scandals with women like Cassandra. So marry someone you actually care about. I do not believe in love." Julian's voice was flat. "It is a distraction, a weakness. This would be a business arrangement. You would play the role of my devoted wife. Attend events, smile for cameras, live in my home. In return, I will pay you $500,000. Victoria's breath caught. 500,000. Enough for Lily's surgery and the follow-up care she would need. Why me? She whispered. Because you are real. Julian leaned forward. I have been watching you tonight. You work hard. You treat everyone with kindness, even when they ignore you. You do not see dollar signs when you look at me. You see a person. The press will love it. Billionaire falls for humble artist. Perfect story. This is crazy. Probably. But you need money desperately. I checked. Your sister needs surgery. You are drowning in debt. I need respectability. We can help each other. How do you know about my sister? I make it my business to know things. Julian pulled out a contract. 1 year. Separate bedrooms. Purely professional. After 12 months, we divorce quietly. You walk away with your money. I complete my merger. Everyone wins. Victoria stared at the document. A year of her life. Pretending to be married to a stranger. Living a lie. But Lily would live. That was all that mattered. The agreement. I need time to think. Victoria stood up. You have until tomorrow morning. Julian handed her a business card. Call me by 10. After that, the offer disappears. That night, Victoria sat in Lily's hospital room. Her sister was 16, with their mother's gentle eyes and bright smile. She slept peacefully, unaware of how close they were to losing everything. Victoria thought about Julian's offer. He did not want love. Neither did she, really. Love had destroyed their mother when their father left. Love made people weak and foolish. This was just business. At 9 the next morning, Victoria called. I will do it. But I have conditions. Name them. The money goes directly to the hospital for my sister. Not to me. I will not touch it for personal use. Agreed. This is business only. No expectations beyond what is in the contract. I keep my dignity. Understood. We marry in 2 weeks. 2 weeks? Victoria's voice cracked. The merger negotiations begin in 3 weeks. We need to be married before then. My lawyer will contact you this afternoon. After hanging up, Victoria looked at her reflection in the window. She was about to marry a man who did not believe in love, who saw her as a useful tool. But sometimes survival mattered more than pride. 2 weeks later, Victoria Hayes became Mrs. Julian Ashford in a simple courthouse ceremony. He placed a platinum ring on her finger, kissed her cheek briefly for the photographer, and they drove to his penthouse in silence. Her new life had begun. A gilded prison. The penthouse occupied 3 floors of the Ashford Tower in downtown Seattle. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered breathtaking views of Puget Sound and the Olympic Mountains. Everything gleamed with expensive perfection. Marble floors, designer furniture, original artwork on the walls. Victoria felt like she had stepped onto a movie set. Your bedroom is on the 2nd floor. Julian led her up a floating staircase. Mine is on the 3rd. You have your own bathroom and a walk-in closet. The staff will bring your belongings tomorrow. What staff? Margaret is the housekeeper. She comes 3 times a week. Thomas is my driver. And starting tomorrow, a stylist will help you select appropriate clothing for public appearances. Victoria followed him into a bedroom twice the size of her entire apartment. The bed looked like it belonged in a luxury hotel. Through another door, she glimpsed a bathroom with a soaking tub and a shower big enough for 4 people. It is beautiful. Her voice sounded small. Make yourself comfortable. I have work to finish. Julian paused at the door. We have a charity dinner on Friday evening. The stylist will prepare you. Good night, Victoria. And then he was gone. Victoria sat on the edge of the enormous bed, still wearing her simple courthouse dress. She had never felt more alone. Building bridges. The first week passed in uncomfortable silence. Julian left early each morning and returned late at night. They crossed paths occasionally in the kitchen or hallway, exchanging polite greetings like strangers in an elevator. Victoria spent her days visiting Lily, whose surgery had been scheduled thanks to the immediate payment. Her sister was responding well to preliminary treatments, and that made everything worthwhile. The stylist, a fashionable woman named Patricia, filled Victoria's closet with designer clothes. Each outfit cost more than Victoria used to make in a month. She felt like a doll being dressed for display. On the 8th day, Victoria was painting in the study Julian had given her permission to use as an art studio when he arrived home earlier than usual. He stopped in the doorway, loosening his tie. "You paint?" It was a statement, not a question. "I do. Or I try to." Victoria stepped back from the canvas, showing Lily laughing in a field of wildflowers. Julian moved closer, studying the painting with genuine interest. "This is excellent. You have real talent." The gallery owners disagree. "They asked me to remove my work last month." "Then they are fools." His voice was firm. "Have you eaten dinner?" "Not yet." "Neither have I." "Come. I will cook." Victoria followed him to the kitchen, surprised when he began pulling ingredients from the refrigerator with practiced ease. "You cook?" "My grandmother insisted I learn." Julian smiled slightly, the first real smile she had seen from him. She said a man who could not feed himself was pathetic. As he prepared pasta with fresh vegetables, Victoria found herself relaxing. She sat at the kitchen island, watching his efficient movements. "Tell me about your grandmother." "She sounds wonderful. She raised me after my parents died in a plane crash when I was 12. Julian's hands paused briefly. "She was tough, demanding, but fair. She taught me everything about business and life. She died 5 years ago. I still miss her." "I am sorry." Victoria understood loss deeply. "My parents divorced when I was 10. My father left and never looked back. My mother raised Lily and me alone until she died from cancer 3 years ago. So we are both orphans." Julian placed a steaming plate of pasta before her. "No wonder we understand each other." The food was delicious. Simple but perfectly seasoned. As they ate, they talked more than they had in the entire previous week. He asked about her art, and she found herself describing her dream of opening a community art center for children who could not afford lessons. "Why did you stop pursuing it?" Julian refilled her wine glass. "Time and money. After my mother died, I had to take care of Lily. Dreams became luxuries I could not afford. You can afford them now." He met her eyes. "I meant what I said in the contract. You have access to funds for reasonable personal expenses. Pursue your art seriously. Take classes. Rent a proper studio." "That was not part of our agreement." "Consider it an amendment. Life is too short not to chase what matters." Something shifted between them that night. A wall beginning to crack. The first test. Their first public appearance as a married couple was a technology conference gala on Friday evening. Victoria wore a stunning emerald gown that brought out the green in her hazel eyes. Her dark hair had been professionally styled in soft waves. When she descended the stairs, Julian stopped mid-conversation on his phone. "You look beautiful." His voice was slightly rough. "Thank you." Victoria felt her cheeks warm. "You look very handsome." At the gala, Julian kept his hand on her waist, introducing her to business partners and investors. She smiled, made polite conversation, and played her role perfectly. But she could feel eyes watching, judging, wondering how a nobody artist had captured Julian Ashford. Then Cassandra appeared, wearing a red dress that left little to the imagination. She draped herself near Julian, ignoring Victoria completely. "Julian, darling. I heard the most absurd rumor that you had gotten married." "It is true." Julian's voice was cool. "Cassandra, this is my wife, Victoria." Cassandra's eyes swept over her with barely concealed contempt. "How charming. Where exactly did you two meet? She does not seem like your usual type." "We met at a charity event." Victoria kept her voice steady. "Sometimes the best connections happen unexpectedly." "How convenient." Cassandra smiled like a cat. "Everyone knows Julian does not believe in love. So what is this really? A business arrangement? Did you trap him somehow?" "That is enough." Julian's voice was sharp. "Victoria is my wife. Show respect or leave." "Oh please." Cassandra laughed. "You are just using her for your precious merger. Everyone can see it. This sweet little artist is just a prop." Victoria felt humiliation burning through her. But before she could speak, Julian pulled her close and kissed her. Not a gentle peck for show, but a real kiss. Deep, claiming, possessive. His hand cupped her face, his thumb stroking her cheek. When he finally pulled back, Victoria was breathless and dizzy. "Does that answer your question?" Julian said to Cassandra, his eyes never leaving Victoria's face. "My wife is the best thing that ever happened to me. Stay away from us." As Cassandra stalked away, Victoria tried to steady her racing heart. "That was quite a performance." "Was it?" Julian's thumb still traced her jawline. "Come. Let us go home." Walls crumbling. In the car ride home, they sat in charged silence. Thomas drove while Victoria stared out the window, replaying the kiss in her mind. It had felt real. Too real. "I apologize if I overstepped." Julian finally spoke. Cassandra needed to be put in her place. "You did what was necessary. Our agreement requires us to appear convincingly married." "Right. The agreement." Something in his tone made her look at him. His jaw was tight, his eyes dark. Back at the penthouse, Victoria headed toward the stairs. "Good night, Julian." "Victoria, wait." He caught her hand. "Tonight you handled yourself perfectly. You were graceful, dignified, and kind even when Cassandra was cruel. I want you to know that I see how difficult this is for you. This situation we are in. You are making it easier than I expected." Victoria admitted. "You have been kind to me and generous with Lily. I am grateful. I do not want your gratitude." Julian stepped closer. "I want you to feel comfortable here. This is your home now, at least for the next year. You should not feel like a guest or an employee." "What should I feel like?" "Like someone who belongs." His hand still held hers. "Like someone who matters." They stood close, the air thick with unspoken words. Victoria felt her heart hammering. This was dangerous. She could not afford to develop real feelings. This was business. Just business. But when Julian lifted her hand and kissed her knuckles gently, she felt something crack deep inside her carefully constructed walls. "Good night, Victoria." He released her hand and stepped back. "Sleep well." As she climbed the stairs to her room, Victoria knew everything was changing. The man who claimed not to believe in love was making her feel things she had sworn never to feel again. And that terrified her more than anything, dangerous territory. 3 months passed like a dream Victoria kept expecting to end. She and Julian fell into a comfortable rhythm. Breakfast together each morning, dinner most evenings when his schedule allowed. They talked about everything and nothing. He asked about her paintings, and she asked about his business challenges. Slowly, carefully, they were becoming friends. Lily's surgery had been successful. She was recovering beautifully, her smile returning along with her strength. Victoria visited her every afternoon, bringing sketchbooks and stories about her strange new life. "Your husband sounds amazing," Lily said one day, her eyes bright with curiosity. "Do you love him?" "It is complicated." Victoria focused on her sketch. "This is a business arrangement, remember? But you like him. I can tell by how your voice changes when you talk about him." Victoria said nothing because Lily was right. Somewhere between the shared meals and late-night conversations, between Julian's unexpected kindness and his rare smiles, she had started falling. And that was against every rule they had established. A night of revelations. On a rainy Thursday evening, Victoria was painting in her studio when Julian appeared in the doorway. He had removed his jacket and tie, and his white shirt was unbuttoned at the collar. He looked tired but smiled when he saw her covered in paint. "You have blue on your nose." He walked closer. "Occupational hazard." Victoria laughed, trying to wipe it away. "Here, let me." He gently brushed his thumb across her nose. "There." They stood close, the air suddenly thick with tension. Julian's hand lingered on her face, his eyes searching hers. "Victoria, I need to tell you something." His voice was rough. "This arrangement we have, it is becoming difficult for me to maintain proper boundaries." "What do you mean?" "I mean that I look forward to coming home because you are here. I mean that I think about you during meetings. I mean that when I kissed you at the gala, it was not just for show." He stepped closer. "I am breaking my own rules. I am feeling things I swore I would never feel." "Julian, we agreed this was just business." "I know." His hand cupped her cheek. "But somewhere along the way, you became more than a contract to me. You became the person I want to talk to about my day. The person whose smile makes everything better. The person I cannot stop thinking about." Victoria's heart hammered. She should step back, remind him of their agreement, protect herself. But she could not move. "I am scared," she whispered. "Love destroyed my mother. It made her weak and desperate. I swore I would never be that vulnerable. Love does not have to destroy. It can heal, strengthen, complete." Julian leaned his forehead against hers. "I was wrong about not believing in love. I just had not found the right person to believe in it with." Before Victoria could respond, his phone rang. He cursed softly, checking the screen. "I have to take this. It is Tokyo. We will continue this conversation later." He left, and Victoria sank onto her painting stool, her hands shaking. Everything was changing, spinning out of control. And the worst part was that she wanted it to change. The secret exposed. 2 days later, Victoria was organizing art supplies when she heard raised voices from Julian's office. She moved closer, not meaning to eavesdrop, but unable to help herself. "I do not care what the tabloids are saying." Julian's voice was sharp. "My marriage is not a sham." "Then explain this." Another man's voice, unfamiliar. "According to our investigation, your wife was desperate for money before you married. Her sister needed expensive surgery. The timing is suspicious, Julian. It looks exactly like what it is. A business transaction." Victoria's blood ran cold. Someone had been investigating her. You had no right to dig into Victoria's private life. Julian sounded furious. "I had every right. I am your lawyer and your friend. This merger is worth billions. If the Tokyo partners discover this marriage is a business arrangement, everything falls apart. They want authenticity, tradition, real family values. My marriage is real." "Is it?" "Because from where I stand, it looks like you paid a struggling artist to play your wife for a year. What happens when the truth comes out?" Victoria could not listen anymore. She ran to her room, grabbed her jacket, and left the penthouse. She walked through the rainy Seattle streets for hours, tears mixing with rain on her face. Everything Julian had said about developing feelings, about believing in love, had it all been a lie? Just another part of the performance to make their arrangement look real? She felt like a fool. Confrontation and truth. When Victoria finally returned to the penthouse, it was past midnight. Julian was waiting in the living room, still dressed, his expression frantic with worry. "Where have you been? I have been calling you for hours. I was about to contact the police. I needed to think." Victoria's voice was flat. "You heard my conversation with Robert. It was not a question. I heard enough." She met his eyes. "This has all been a performance, has it not? Even your feelings. Just another way to make the arrangement look convincing." "No." Julian stood, moving toward her. "Victoria, everything I said to you was real. How can I believe that? You paid me to be your wife. This entire relationship is built on a contract and a lie. It started that way." Julian's voice was raw with emotion. "But it changed. You changed everything. I was not lying when I said I think about you constantly. When I said coming home to you matters more than any business deal. Your lawyer is right, though." Victoria felt tears burning. "When your Tokyo partners discover the truth about how we met, about why I agreed to this, everything you have worked for falls apart. I am a liability. I do not care." "You should." Victoria's voice broke. "Your company, your merger, your reputation, they all matter. I will not let you destroy everything because of me." "What are you saying?" "I am saying maybe we should end this now. Before it gets more complicated. Before someone gets hurt. Someone is already hurt." Julian stepped closer, his eyes fierce. "I am hurt by the thought of you leaving. I am hurt by the idea of going back to my empty life without you in it. I am hurt because I fell in love with you, Victoria, and I do not know how to stop." Victoria stared at him, her heart breaking and soaring at the same time. "You love me? I love you." He cupped her face in both hands. "I love how you hum while painting. I love how you visit your sister every day no matter how tired you are. I love how you see good in people even when they do not deserve it. I love your strength, your kindness, your talent, your heart. I love everything about you." Tears streamed down Victoria's face. "I love you too. I tried not to. I tried to keep walls up and stay professional. But you broke through every defense I had. You made me believe that love does not have to be weak or destructive. You showed me it can be beautiful." Julian kissed her then, and it was nothing like the kiss at the gala. This was tender, deep, filled with promise and hope. When they finally broke apart, both were breathless. "What do we do now?" Victoria whispered. "What about the merger and the investigation?" "We tell the truth." Julian held her close. "We go to Tokyo together and explain exactly what happened. We admit that our marriage started as an arrangement but became real. We let them decide if that authenticity is enough. And if they walk away, then they walk away. No business deal is worth losing you. But your company means everything to you. It did. Until you became my everything." Julian kissed her forehead. "I built CloudSync to prove something to myself, to honor my grandmother's memory. But she would have told me that love matters more than money. That people matter more than profit. You matter more than any merger." A new beginning. 6 months later, Victoria stood in the grand ballroom of a Tokyo hotel, her hand in Julian's, as they celebrated the successful completion of the merger. The Tokyo partners had appreciated their honesty, seeing the genuine love between them as a strength rather than a liability. "You were right." Victoria smiled up at her husband. Real husband, not contract husband. The truth set us free. We set each other free. Julian pulled her close for a dance. You freed me from believing love was a weakness. I freed you from fearing it would destroy you. Lily watched from a nearby table, healthy and radiant, her heart strong and her future bright. Beside her sat Margaret and Thomas, who had become like family. Even Patricia the stylist had become a close friend. Victoria had opened her community art center, teaching children who reminded her of herself. Young people who needed to believe that dreams were possible even when circumstances seemed impossible. Julian had invested in the center, but more importantly, he volunteered there every Saturday, teaching kids about technology and entrepreneurship. Their penthouse was filled with Victoria's paintings now. Splashes of color and life replacing the sterile perfection. And at night, they did not sleep in separate bedrooms. They fell asleep wrapped around each other, whispering dreams and plans for the future. I never thanked you properly, Victoria said as they swayed to the music. For saving Lily. For giving me a chance at my dreams. For teaching me to believe in love again. You saved me too. Julian kissed her softly. You brought color into my gray world. You taught me that vulnerability is not weakness but courage. You showed me that the best business deal I ever made was opening my heart to you. As they danced under crystal chandeliers, surrounded by friends and family, Victoria realized that sometimes the most unexpected arrangements lead to the most beautiful destinations. What started as a desperate deal between strangers had transformed into a love story neither of them saw coming. Their scream had revealed the truth indeed. Not a scream of fear or pain, but the silent scream of two hearts recognizing they had found home in each other. And the millionaire was not stunned by the virgin girl shaking at his love. He was humbled, grateful, and eternally changed by the woman who taught him that love was the greatest wealth of all. Their contract had expired months ago. But their love would last forever. The end. Epilogue. 1 year later, Victoria and Julian welcomed their first child. A daughter with Julian's dark eyes and Victoria's creative spirit. They named her Grace, after Julian's grandmother. And as Victoria held their baby girl, with Julian's arms wrapped around them both, she knew that every moment of fear and uncertainty had been worth it. Love had not destroyed her. It had rebuilt her into someone stronger, braver, and more complete than she ever imagined possible. And the billionaire who once believed love was a distraction had discovered it was actually the purpose of everything. Their never-ending story had truly just begun.